Hello everyone. This will be a short unboxing video of StarCraft's 1400 Akira class starship. This is based on the TV series Star Trek. It's from the Next Generation Deep Space Nine timeline. Let's go ahead and open her up. This is a resin model, which means there are not many pieces to this model. First thing we have here is a paint guide. Not very large. There is no assembly instructions. Like I said, first thing we have is a paint guide. At least it's color. That's a benefit, and it does have the paint calls on there. We have the base. I'm pretty much going to end up trashing this base. If we do a close-up on it, you can see there's a lot of rough spots on this base. They did not pay much attention to the details when they made this base. It's just something they threw in to include with the model. And then we have the saucer section itself. Yeah, those little things, they like to stick to everything. There's still a lot of mold release on this thing. The details are fairly sharp. Better than I expected from some of the resin work I've seen. One of the things I don't like about this, though, is the side details. On one side, they're very crisp, right along this edge, right along here. And then when I turn it over in here, there's a couple of rough spots right in here, where the mold must have been getting old in the series. In addition, there's one really bad spot in the saucer section, right over on this side over here. Really, really bad spot. That's going to take some major work to repair. But other than that, the saucer section's in pretty good shape. There's one void I'm going to have to fill right here too. Now moving on to the next pieces. These are the engine supports. They're in a slightly different colored resin. They are lighter, but the details are still fairly sharp on them. What I mean by lighter is they're lighter in weight. But the details are still fairly sharp on these two. Not as much mold release on them, but I can still feel it in a few spots. I'm going to have to give this thing a really good bath before I put it together. And then we get to the warp engines themselves. Again, details are pretty good. I can see more mold release in here. There's some shiny spots. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. Yes, you can. Okay. But again, the details are fairly sharp here. These two pieces, other than some rough spots on the very ends, right here where there's still some mold flash, and a few divots from the molding process, are in really good shape. There's going to be little cleanup work on the engine parts. There isn't a whole lot left in the box. Like I said, this is a short little model. We have our decal sheet. The decal sheet seems to be pretty crisp. What's nice are all the lifeboats are decaled. I was afraid I was going to have to paint those things on here. And with those all being decaled, I won't have to paint them. That is a good thing to me. And the decals look like they're in pretty good shape. One thing, this is definitely a solid printing on the sheet. When you buy a model from like AMT, Polar Lights, each decal has its own little spot on there. Not so much with this. But it does come with decals for two different versions. The USS Thunderchild and the USS Akira. I'm probably going to build the Akira. And our last little bit, I have not opened this bag yet. But, here we go. It doesn't want to come out of there very well. We have the bridge piece. Again, detailing's fairly sharp. I see a teeny bit of cleanup I'm going to have to do. Just a teeny bit. Not much on this piece. Okay, just a little bit of trimming here and there. And then the bridge itself. That's the span between the engines. The bridge itself is pretty well coated with mold release, so she's going to need a good scrubbing down to get that off there. We have a couple of registry pins on the back of the bridge. Registry pins to fit on the top of the saucer section, like so. Okay, let me move the box out of the way. I kind of have to close the lid. One of my cats thinks packing peanuts are food. That's never good for the belly of the cat. A quick mock-up build. 2 end pieces. They go on. Okay, that doesn't look like that sits on there all that well. Ah, it's because it's in the wrong spot. 2 end pieces go on like this. I'm not going to do a tape up. I don't see the point in doing a tape up. I just wanted to do a quick place it together, get an idea of what she's going to look like. Again, this thing has very few parts to it, so this will be a quick build. This one's going to be way more about the painting than anything. Okay, that piece is on the floor. Apparently this piece, oh, it goes between those two like that. And this model appears to be, if I line her up on the cutting board correctly, over 10 inches long, about 11 inches long. Let me get that piece off the floor real quick. She's going to come up being about 11 inches long, which to me isn't too bad. This ought to be a pretty quick build. I should be able to knock the build part of this out in a day, easily. That one spot, again, on the main reflector worries me a teeny bit, but that's only one little spot of this thing. Again, she's not real small. This ought to be a fun little build. And it's going to be about the painting more than anything. Well, hope you enjoyed seeing a preview of this. Thank you. And my next video on this one will be talking about gluing her up and filling those bad spots. Thank you. Quick update. The decal sheet only has decals for the Thunderchild. There is one little decal up here. It says USS Akira. All the other decals with NCC on it are only for the Thunderchild. The Akira was NX62497, which no decals for. I don't know if I'm going to track down the decals for that or not. Thunderchild's a good enough name for me, so I'll probably just build the Thunderchild.